Welcome to A&M Reviews. I'm Skybear, and I'm here with my buddy Sal. What's up, Sal?
Not much.
All right, today we are going to be doing Throwback Thursday, and today we're going to be looking at what we do in the shadows. Is that right, Sal?
Yes, and warning, there's going to be spoilers.
So watch out.
You've been warned.
So, What We Do in the Shadows is about a documentary team that films the lives of a group of vampires for a few months, and the vampires share a house in Wellington, New Zealand. And it turns out the vampires have their own domestic problems too. Ooh.
Ooh.
So, what did you think about this movie, Sal?
Well, I actually enjoyed it. I love the fact that it was a satire of a lot of vampire movies and shows. So I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I thought I enjoyed it. I appreciated it for what it was doing. I just, I thought it was good. I gave it like a 7.5.
Okay, that's understandable.
I don't know. I think that mainly has to do with how I feel about this certain type of humor. Keep in mind, I am not a fan of The Office, and I am not a fan of Parks and Rec. I know, blasphemy for a lot of people, but so be it.
It's okay, because I'm a fan, so we can have our own point of views, so that's understandable.
And so I think that if you really enjoy watching The Office and Parks and Rec, and you enjoy that type of humor, then you definitely enjoy What We Do in the Shadows.
And also the fact that if you like people making fun of other, let's say, genres or Twilight, you might enjoy this. Each character is based off of a famous vampire in movie history. Skyber, do you want to touch upon that?
Yeah, like one of the roommates is based off Nosferatu. One of them is based off Bela Lugosi. There's another one who's off Gary Oldman, and one of the characters ends up becoming an Edward Cullen's looking character. Yeah, and I thought that was cool. I was like, hey, I see what you're doing there.
Yeah, I mean, so, the only one that threw me off was the one that was Bela Lugosi. At first, I was like, because there was one character who is based off Louis from Interview with the Vampire, who is the director. And the other guy that threw me off was Deacon. So he is based off Bela Lugosi. And I'm like, okay, if the other one's from the Interview with the Vampires and he's Brad Pitt, then maybe this one's going to be Tom Cruise. But then as I saw it further, I'm like, oh, this is Bela Lugosi. I'm like, no wonder. Yeah, so each one had their own things. Like each character, there's Vlad, and then he's basically Gary Oldman. There's also werewolves in it, so this is kind of a play on Twilight. There's zombies in the movie because there's a you call it like a ball they attend, and there's the characters too.
Oh, Stu. Stu is the best.
Stu is the human, and he's just there.
Stu's the best, Sal.
And here's the thing that makes it better. Stu is actually Stu. He's a real person who works at the thing that the character says he works at. So they hired him as a computer expert and said, yeah, you're going to play a little part in the movie. They didn't change his name. They didn't change his work. They're like, tell us who your name, Stu. Okay, that's going to be your character. What do you do? I do this. Okay, that's what your character is going to do for work. So go. You're in the movie. And it was just him, and it's so refreshing just to see him stand like, oh, I don't know what to do. He's just there. And then the guys are like, they're vampires, but they grow accustomed to Stu, and they're like, we love Stu. He's a human, like, is that because they're pet? And you want to say why we got sad in the movie?
Oh yeah, because Stu dies. Stu gets killed
by the werewolves.
But then he comes back as a werewolf. So I like that little story beat that they did there.
Yeah, that's at the end. So I was like, oh man, poor Stu. He was like, he's my favorite. I'm like, he's just the guy who's just there. And then he walks in like, yeah, I'm a werewolf now. And I'm like, holy shit, he's back.
That was pretty funny too.
Yeah. And then the other part that I kind of found funny was there were some lines. Mm-hmm. One of the lines is, get up and stand on the ceiling, fight like a man.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I'm like, really? I'm like, and the other one's like, I will kill you. And the other guy replies, I am already dead. I'm like, these are like really funny lines, but they just go past you really fast. So it's enjoyable. Also, this is the director who did Thor Ragnarok.
Yes, it is.
And I didn't know about this movie until basically Thor Ragnarok came out, and then I looked to see what other movies he did, and I saw this, and then we decided to, Throwback Thursday. So you're the one who told me that there was a Kickstarter for this, and do you want to touch upon that?
Oh yeah, and there was an original short film that the movie's based off of, just basically expanded and touched upon.
they filmed in New Zealand, and there's some scenes from Lord of the Rings. Actually, when they're passing by the werewolves.
Oh yeah, didn't isn't it like one of the spots like where Frodo and Frodo and the other hobbits were hiding from the or what were they called? The Nazgul?
Yeah, yeah. So that's a thing, and that's why there's a special thanks to Peter Jackson at the end of the movie.
Oh,
You know, that
okay.
it's just written. So I was like, I looked at it, I'm like, why are they thanking Peter Jackson? Was
Why
he
wouldn't you
there?
thank
And
Peter Jackson?
yeah, but at the same time, I was like, oh, he probably said like, this is where we filmed. You know, these are the locations. So they went and scouted them, and they said we're gonna film there. You know, so I thought that was kind of interesting. I mean, and the other thing that really got me rolling at the end was when the main vampire, which is the director, he's been talking about that he had a love, Katrine, and he basically lost her because she got married. So he keeps going to her retirement home and watching her from the window kind of thing. And she's old. He says, oh, fuck it. I'm just going to go and marry her or something. So he sees like he's going to bite her or something. And then they fall in love and she's like recognizes him. And he bites her. So she's a vampire now. And there's a line where he's like, oh, she's 80 something years old. And I don't care what people say that, you know, age doesn't matter. And he says, they say that I'm 4 times her age. Like, I'm rocking the cradle. And I was like, oh shit, you thought it was the other way. But since he's a vampire, you know. So I kind of started laughing at that.
Oh, you gotta love the werewolves. I mean, they didn't even do anything. Yeah, I mean, like this movie had a ton of good moments. And,
Yes.
like it's definitely like a good like movie night kind of movie.
It's a good, yes. I would recommend it to people who want to have their friends over. You know, have some popcorn and just watch it and just laugh. I mean, because this is hilarious from the beginning to end. I mean, you do get sad because Stu, but he comes back. So it just, I mean, I had a good time watching it.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I agree.
And I didn't know about this movie until recently because you told me about it too.
Oh yeah, I've been wanting to watch it since it came out. I just never got around to it, and then we got around to it.
Yeah, great.
So that was our review of What We Do in the Shadows. Catch us next time when we talk about All About My Mother. Social media is in the description, and hit us up if you have any questions.
And remember, keep watching movies.